Welcome along to the Emerald Collective's first podcast. This is actual play Call of Cthulhu 7th edition by Chaosium. I am your keeper, Mark, and along with me are four brave investigators ready to dive into the mysteries that are about to unfold and unknowingly delving into the Cthulhu mythos with sanity-shattering revelations, presumably. Let's introduce our players this evening. Let's start with Dave.
Oh, hey, hi. I'm Dave, DM for Software on Saga, right here on the Emerald Collective, or on the Twitch side of things. But tonight, Matthew, I'll be playing Ulick O'Shea. He's a self-styled private investigator, former member of the Royal Irish Constabulary, who was... he was in hell in the trenches in World War I. And he went through some occulty shit there that no one believed, and was subsequently interred in an asylum. And now he's back in his hometown of Silvermines, where everyone thinks he's a lunatic. But he knows a lot about weird stuff, so they sometimes come to him in the dead of night when the other villagers won't see him, and they ask his advice. He's also affectionately known as Ulick the Tick.
Very good. Thank you, Dave. Keith, would you like to introduce your character?
I would be delighted. My name is Keith Allen, and I will be playing Charles Mitchell, Charlie, an antiquarian from the local big house known as the Abbey over in Templemore. Spends most of his time doing research, reading books about the occult and that kind of thing. Written a book or two himself, and has heard a thing or two about the some sort of strange goings on down in Silvermines. So I'm taking a spin down the old cart to see what's going on and see if it's as strange as it sounds.
Thank you, sir. Next up, we have Ryan.
Hi, guys. I'm Ryan, aka Deranged Rhino, and tonight I am going to be playing Professor Montgomery Miles. He is a professor of all sorts of things, including psychology, history, and a little bit of the arts, if he can get into it a bit more. I'm on a quest to keep these rapscallion kids in tow and making sure they learn. But that doesn't mean I don't have interest in other areas of intellectual egression as well.
Very good. Every day is a school day with the professor, but some lessons are probably best left unlearned. Last but by no means least, we have Dean.
Hello, I am Dean, the DM in Tyrone within a 60-mile radius. Tonight I am playing Vincent Cartwright, who he's a collector of all things occult, likes to read deeply about strange things, especially in the news, likes to listen in pubs, in the library more so as well. When there's people of a more learned stature, we can glean any information, we can get up close and personal to something strange that's happened, and he wants to simply peel back the veil that separates their world from ours, and let's see what shakes loose.
Very good, very good. And with our investigators introduced, allow me to lay the background down behind this investigation. So, the year is 1919. It is a Wednesday afternoon on October 8th when you are asked to meet with a person that is involved with an investigation ongoing in Silvermines, County Tipperary. Ulick, being from the village, is probably already knows a lot about this case, and perhaps even Charlie Mitchell, being just over the road in Templemore, knows a good deal about the goings-on. Word spreads faster on these small towns and small villages. But you have all certainly by now read in the papers that Jack Sullivan, resident of Silvermines, has been found dead between the village and the mining site. Jack had actually been previously missing for 3 months, with no sign whatsoever of his whereabouts, only to turn up on this cold, dark mountain trail, shot dead by a local farmer who has since been taken into custody. Now, what is said in the papers is that this farmer, who has been named as Eugene Grace, was attacked by this man and shot down. Not much more else is said. It seems that the culprit has been apprehended and he's been since imprisoned. It seems to be an open and closed case, but a number of rumours have been going around, particularly around the Silvermines and the Nina area, that there's more to the story than what the papers have said. One such person who is very much interested in this case is Jack Sullivan's brother, Cathal Sullivan, resident of Cashel, County Tipperary. He's moved away from the Silvermines many moons ago, but he is back to gain some closure on this case. He's not filled with an overwhelming amount of confidence in the authorities' decision to kind of open and close this case, so he's put out an ad asking for investigators to come along and assist him in this matter. Now, I'm sure Ulick and Charlie probably have come along of their own volition, but that is we will see about that in a few moments. But nevertheless, on this Wednesday afternoon, it is just gone past 12 noon, and this summons by Cathal Sullivan asks you to meet in a cafe or tea room on Kenyon Street in Nina for a kind of, I suppose, a preliminary briefing on the case and catch all of the investigators up to speed. And as it happens, you don't arrive together, but you arrive roughly around the same time. It's quite busy in this little cafe on the street in Nina, and as you enter, this heavy-set man sitting by himself in the center of the cafe, he turns his attention to the door as you walk in, and he immediately kind of brushes the crumbs off his suit, and he stands up to greet you. He says, Mr. Lord Mitchell, pleasure to meet you, sir. And these must be your companions here. Please join me. I've ordered some afternoon tea here for you all. And he directs you towards the table in the center of the room that is adorned with a selection of sandwiches, cakes, scones, tea, very much a fine spread already set out for you gentlemen. And he ushers you to your seats. He says, I'm quite thankful that you have all gathered here on such short notice to help me with this particular matter. I'm sure you've heard from the papers about the goings-on around Silvermines, have you not?
Yes, thank you very much. Well, I think maybe some introductions are in order. We appear to have arrived together, but I'm not familiar with these other gentlemen.
Of course, where are my manners? Of course, he extends a hand. Cathal Sullivan, Sullivan's Accountancy.
Oh, fantastic! Yes, Charles Mitchell, Charlie, as you said. Some of the local lads were telling me the story about this case. Terrible stuff, of course, about your brother. We're all very sorry to hear that. There seems to be something a little bit more complex or unusual. But like I say, yes, the local lads mentioned something, and they said to come down and talk to you. That maybe I've. Sorry, I overspeak. The other gentleman here, I'm not over familiar with you. And he turned to, I suppose, I don't know if Charlie would know of you, like his interest in the occult and stuff like that. I don't know if they've crossed paths, but he might be. I don't think he might not know what you would look like, but he will turn around to. We'll say Ulick is on his left hand side and say, I'm sorry, sir, I don't know your name. Charles Mitchell, Charlie.
As Ulick is sitting there, he's in sort of these heavy, sort of thick, almost work trousers. You know, they might be slightly waterproof, but that whatever film that is over them is sort of worn away. Maybe they were waterproof once, or the 1919 version of it. He has one of these sort of over the shoulders sling bags like Indiana Jones, and he's wearing what was once a white shirt. It's heavily stained with like armpit sweat stains, and he just looks like a dirty git. But also, what he has, he's sitting there with what looks like an old jam jar full of treacle, and he's just dipping 2 fingers into it, and he's just licking the treacle off his fingers. And he seems to zone in and out, and then he goes, "Sorry, what, boss? What's that?"
Just saying hello, introducing myself.
All right,
we've all come
yeah.
together. But Charles Mitchell, what was your name?
I know what I am. I'm name's Ulick. So, yeah, who are you?
Pleasure, Charles Mitchell. Charlie.
All right.
I'm from the house out the road.
Do you know that lad that died?
No, but I believe Steve
I do.
His brother. You are familiar with him as well?
Oh, I know of him.
Great. Well, I think
it's an accurate description. We're all livid.
Who's that lad?
You can call me Benson Cartwright, and I see you were licking some sticky ichor from that jar. You realize there's sandwiches and buns here.
I brought me own stuff.
Well, it's a bring your own party.
You want some treacle?
I wouldn't mind.
And he sticks the yes, he sticks the jar like right in there. You're going straight in with 2 fingers, are you?
Yeah. Benson looks like a kind of not top heavy, but shaggy from Scooby Doo, but sinewy. Like he can throw himself about a bit. Long trench coat, kind of Peaky Blinders-esque, but no hat. Just the shaggy brown hair, all pulled back, with a revolver on his hip.
You mentioned, and Kyle turns his attention to you. Like you knew Jack. You're from the Silvermines, are you?
That's me he's asking, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am. Well, I know of him. He's an awful bollocks. He used to be fierce mean to me, called me names and stuff. But,
well,
I didn't kill him.
Why would anyone call you names? As I dip more into the...
I've got many names.
We won't speak ill of the recently deceased.
No, of course not.
But no, I used to be from there. I moved away down to Cashel, and I haven't really been home in quite some time. I just thought if you were from the Silvermines, you might have some more information than I'm getting from the authorities. It's quite distressing, but that is why I summoned you all here. But
I know what happened.
You do?
It was the puka.
Indeed.
It was the what now?
Like the dance move.
What? No, it's the puka. The Taisha, the ghosts. I see them walking around after the dead of night.
You saw a ghost walking?
Well, sometimes they walk, sometimes they just glide like that through the air. I open the curtains, I hear kind of a... I open the curtains and they're standing there. They're saying, Ulick, come out and die. I says, no. I close the curtains.
I'm starting to suddenly regret eating that ichor.
I'm familiar with D&D. I'm not super familiar with Call of Cthulhu. Is there some... so apologies, but is there some kind of a... Can I do some sort of a check to see how fucking switched on this Ulick dude is? Or is that a kind of a...
That would be a psychoanalysis check.
Oh yeah, give me one of them.
I think with Ulick, you probably do a psycho check and then an analysis check.
I have a 1 in that.
I also have 1 in that.
But let's go. 1% chance of getting it.
Let's roll some dice. So remind me again of the mechanics of this. So I'm rolling a D100.
That's right.
And I have to roll under the number to win. The number is 1.
So you have to roll a 1.
It's not possible for me to...
A 1 in 100 chance of getting a read on Ulick.
Yeah. Okay. Well, fingers crossed. Here we go. And that was an 18, which out of 100 is pretty good.
I can tell you this: if you fail a roll, you have 2 options. If you fail a roll, okay,
oh, right,
you can spend luck. So whatever your luck is, you can burn. So you'd need to burn 17 points of luck. So that's permanently deducted from your luck score to succeed. Or you could do what is called pushing the roll, where you roll a second time, but if you do, you have to kind of describe how you're pushing it, if you know what I mean. But if you fail the pushed roll, something bad happens.
Interesting.
Everybody's asshole just puckered.
I think in the benefit of actually figuring out how this game works, I think I'm going to have to push this roll.
How are you pushing the roll?
Let me think.
With vivacity.
This is, I actually, looking now at my character sheet, I can see I've got like a 55 in occult, so I should have checked to see if I knew about the puka and if that was attached, but that ship has sailed now, so let's move back over to pushing. So psychoanalysis, I'm going to say that I'm pushing because this guy is...
he's very twitchy and he's very, like, there is something wrong with him.
I think there's just severely something wrong, but I'm going to say that I'm going to lean in and like maybe, so I'm going to say maybe Charlie will kind of lean in and kind of get more into this, like, oh, the puka, have you seen him? Where does he go? And did you say you saw him? Was he there at the time of the murder? And
he wasn't there for the murder, lad. He wasn't there for the murder. Now, are you sitting opposite him or are you sitting beside him? Because if you're sitting beside him and you say you're leaning in, or are you just leaning into the moment?
Oh, yeah, I think like...
Okay, so you're not getting in, like, open his... Yeah, right, Dean? You're not getting open his grill.
No, I think, actually, if anything, I think I'm going to start leaning away from this dude.
But he smells a bit as well.
For sure. So I think from I'm pushing this by almost like verbally pushing him a little further to kind of like, this doesn't sound right. Like nobody knows anything. And all of a sudden this guy, also he's got like his fingers in the jar and he's licking that. So I think just verbally, that's how I'm going to push the roll.
Okay, go ahead and roll it again. Sorry, Dave.
So I do get to roll. I don't know why I'm trying to push this because I can only get one. I can't actually win. So I try and roll it again, do I?
You're taking the hit for all of us.
Yeah. Well, this is just us, just
figuring it out. We're all new to Call of Cthulhu, so.
Exactly, yes. So I roll again, is that it?
Yes, sir.
Oh my god.
That was a 99. Ironically enough, I couldn't have gotten a worse roll.
You also you can get 100, but that is actually a fumble. So that's double bad. You fumbled a pushed roll.
Oh Jesus! Do I have to roll up a new character now?
Yeah. So
the flames.
You try to psychoanalyze Ulick, and your brain explodes and you die. No, that does not happen. What happens is you're as you say, you kind of question him further and say, "Is that really what happened?" And you kind of lock eyes with Ulick for a moment, and you can. For like a moment, you get this wildly uneasy feeling that this man is quite unstable, and you kind of feel a little bit intimidated by him, I suppose. You feel like he's quite unhinged. Can I ask you to make a sanity roll?
Ooh. Holy God, we're sitting in a fucking tea shop.
It was at that moment Charlie knew he'd fucked up.
How do I do that? So,
what is this? What is the sanity roll?
Sanity, the big sanity button. Is that it?
The big sanity button.
Right.
So what is this? Just for people that haven't played Call of Cthulhu,
like us.
So you have a set amount of sanity points, which is equal to your willpower, and we will talk about willpower when the time is right as well. But if you fail, if you are asked for a sanity check and you fail, generally that means that your mind is slowly slipping into the abyss of madness. Little by little, it's whittled away, such as when you encounter things that
shouldn't exist.
Normal people should not, like Ulick.
Okay.
But yeah, in this particular instance, you catch this moment of, like, you look in Ulick's eyes and you're talking about the puka and you're talking about this kind of this kind of paranormal kind of stuff, and you get this very unsettling feeling for a moment.
For sure, because I think like Charlie has read lots of books on the occult and has written books. completely theoretical. Like he's traveled a bit and he's gotten around. He was educated abroad and whatnot, but I don't think he's ever encountered anything like that. So thus far, it's all been this kind of like safe thing. But I think looking into Ulick's eyes, I think Ulick has had a very extreme. He sees something in Ulick's eyes that just like for a second is like, oh, this could be all real.
Can I describe a moment that like might happen there?
Oh, please do.
So as you stare into Ulick's eyes, and his fingers just stopped in the treacle jar, and it's almost like it's almost like he's just frozen in time, and you almost see the cafe slow down, and the noise of the cafe just recedes, and you look into his eyes, and you can almost see something happening behind there, but you hear the sound of almost way in the distance gunfire and screams and people dying for a split second, and then it's gone. I don't know, whether I have the power to say that happens or whatever, but
absolutely, absolutely.
That definitely calls for a sanity roll.
You just get that like almost sounds like just hell on earth for a second, and then everything just snaps back to normal. He's like,
yes. Go ahead and make that sanity roll.
Do you want some treacle?
So I have to the same rules. I have to roll a D100, and that goes. I have to get under my sanity.
Under your points. Yeah.
Okay, sanity's a little better. I've got 60 sanity.
So you got to roll a 60 or less.
For now.
Okay. For now, yeah. Let's see how that goes. Oh, a hard success.
14. Success is a 14. Wow.
Excellent. Can you explain to me? I'm very excited. And the text is green and it says hard success. So I'm assuming I won something. Can you explain what the difference between a failure, a hard success? Is there other kinds of successes?
So your sanity was 60. So if you were to roll a 61 or higher, that would have been a failure. If you roll 60 or less, that's a regular success. If you roll half your score, so if you roll a 30 or less, that's a hard success. If you roll a fifth of your score or less, that's an extreme success. So if you would have rolled a 12 or less, you were almost near an extreme success, but it doesn't matter. So the level of success kind of dictates how well you perform that action. So in this instance, you remain steadfast, and although a little bit perturbed, you are mentally unfazed by it. So it's zero sanity loss.
Fantastic. I think that experience has probably shaken Charlie a little bit, and Charlie be a little bit under normal circumstances. I think his curiosity is kind of bringing him out a little bit more sociable. Normally he would be kind of a little more less sociable. So I think this has kind of like settled him down a little bit. So he kind of settles back into his chair a little bit and lets the conversation move on.
As you're kind of, you snap out of it and settle back into your chair, you realize that you haven't been listening to what the last couple of sentences Cathal is saying, and all you can see is just two fingers right up to your face with the stuff, and a little dollop of it drops off Ulick's fingers and lands on a scone on the table. And Cathal has been kind of getting more the attention of the professor, and Mr. Cartwright has been saying, well, the victim, Jack Sullivan, was my brother, and the circumstances around his death have been quite distressing, to say the least. Hasn't really been particularly noted in the papers, but I've been up to the barracks, the police barracks myself, quite a number of times, and I'm finding them quite unhelpful indeed. But I will say that this Eugene Grace character, that farmer that shot him, he admits to discharging his firearm. It was at point blank range as well, but he must not be of the right mind. But I cannot stop thinking about it. He says that that Jack attacked him first, but it's also distressing to note that Mr. Grace is claiming that Jack was also already dead. It's I shouldn't be laughing. This is my brother. We're talking about it, but the mind simply it boggles at such a notion. But
and do you know what was there an autopsy performed?
the autopsy results are still pending, you see, and that's what I mean. The authorities are really dragging their feet with this one. I think they just want to kind of wrap this up, but
but you said it's been missing as well. Is that correct?
Indeed, yes, he's been missing for quite some time, quite a number of weeks. And when the body was recovered, along with the gunshot wound, I have not seen Jack's body myself, but it was noted by authorities that his skin and his lips had turned blue. Which is not something would happen to someone after being shot. So that leads me to believe that perhaps there's something else going on. I don't think it's quite as ghastly as what Mr. Grace is describing, but I do not want to leave any stone unturned involving this case. That is why I have called you gentlemen here, and I am more than happy to pay you for your troubles.
Maybe it was your Kruger friend that had been controlling the body.
No, I would very much like it if we did a thorough investigation here, gentlemen, and perhaps leave the kind of hocus pocus out of this.
What was he doing before he went missing?
That is an excellent question. I don't really speak with my brother very much. After I keep in contact occasionally through letters, but I can tell you this: he's good friends with one Peter Houlihan, who lives in the Silvermines. You may know this this gentleman.
I do. He's not for bollocks.
Quite the reclusive gentleman. Yes, quite a for want of a better word, a bit of an oddball. But yes, very good friends with Jack, this Peter Houlihan. He may be someone you might be interested in speaking with, and and as well, while we're in Nina, as it is, as I said, I have not been in the Silvermines in quite some time, so maybe there is, if there's any legwork you might need to do, the local library might be a good resource for you, or if you wanted to go and try the police barracks yourself, you are more than welcome to do that, but I can tell you that they are not very forthcoming with information.
Would you know, has there been any other instances of people having problems within the mines?
I've only returned since news of Jack's death. I've only been back in the mines, the Silvermines, a few days. But the people there are very to themselves. I mean, no offense, Ulick, but they do seem to keep a tightly knit circle, and I'm not really au fait with the goings on around town. The people of the village would certainly be of more use, and you actually have them. One of the villagers walking in your midst as we speak, Mr. O'Shea. Well, just simply saying that you may know more about this case than I do.
Are you accusing me of something?
No, fear not, my friend. I have no reason to accuse you of it. Please have another scone and refill your teas.
Give me the one with the treacle on it there.
Of course, yes. And he'll pick up the plate and kind of hand it to you. And
he'll grab his wrist and hold it tightly and just, for a second, just stare hard into his eyes. Can I do a psychoanalysis check?
It depends on what you're trying to kind of figure out.
Is there guilt in this man's eyes? Could he have been responsible or had something to do with this?
That would be a psychology roll.
Psychology, and I shit. Look, here we go again. So I have psychology 1.
Don't push it, Dave.
We have a 1 in 100 chance to push it. Push it real good. Boop. 4.
You can spend luck.
I'm going to spend I'm going to spend 3 luck points. And
you can permanently deduct that from your luck then.
Sorry, I just clicked my luck. Sorry, how do I deduct it?
You'd have to go into edit your character.
Edit, sorry, go to edit mode. Okay, cool. So my luck is 37.
Okay, so you can steal points from your luck,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but they're gone then.
Does that ever refresh, actually, Mark?
Your luck.
Yeah.
When you kind of the equivalent of leveling up, you have the chance of regaining some luck as well.
It'll never happen because Mark will kill us all.
Would I what? So you will also notice when you succeed in a skill, make a note of it. So you succeeded in psychology, so you can put a tick next to psychology. So when it comes to, again, level up your character, you can make an improvement score in your psychology. So it might no longer be 1 at the end of this.
So like click the usage check mark there.
Yeah.
That little okay, cool.
Yeah. So when you succeed in a skill roll, you can put a little tick next to it. Now, normally the rules are if you spend luck on a skill, you shouldn't put a tick next to it, but I am going to put in a little mark rule there to say you can. So yeah, you kind of when he hands you the scone, you kind of grab him by his wrist and you kind of you kind of zone in and focus on get a read on his face, and he's a man of about in his 60s, so his face is rather well weathered, but he is more of the kind of indoors kind of businessman type. So he doesn't have the weather beaten face of a man who works outdoors. But nevertheless, for a man in his 60s, he has significantly aged. His sandy brown hair has a lot of flecks of grey in it, and he's kind of bags underneath his eyes. But you get a read on him, and you're quite sure that he's coming from a place of genuine concern, and he's maybe you do pick up on a little bit of guilt, but what you're getting is guilt over the fact that maybe
he wasn't there.
He said he kind of rarely kept in contact with his brother. You think maybe there's a bit of guilt in that sense.
That's fine.
Touch more.
So when he grabs the wrist, he'll put him close, and he'll put his other hand on top of the top of his hand, and he'll just say, "Sorry for your troubles," and you let him go.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. O'Shea. Well, gentlemen, I am at your disposal if you need help in any regard. I have access to an automobile. I'll be happy to transport you between Nina and Silvermines or anywhere else that your investigation may take you, within the realms of possibility, of course. But for the time being, my only real leads would be to check in with the local constabulary and perhaps maybe try and glean some information from the library. Other than that, I will be here for the afternoon. If you are ready to head straight to the village, I'm happy to provide transportation. It's only about 5 miles away. It shan't take us too long.
When exactly would the library be open for me to... I'm interested in this aspect of an undead creature, and I want to see if there's any promise to it.
Oh, well, the library is open right now, at your leisure. My good man, you're welcome to peruse the literature on the shelves within the library.
Okay, well, in that case, I might ask that maybe you could drop me there.
Absolutely.
I'd suggest you go to the section that starts with P for Puka.
Tell me, Ulick, what did you see when you saw this Puka, this Taisha?
Taivsha. That's the one. Now, I'll tell you over a few scoops, so I will.
Maybe we'll do that this evening and after I've done my research.
That one's good to me.
I believe I want to see about an undead creature as well, but to be fair, I believe in the direct approach. Where's the body?
Oh, well, the body has been transported to, I think it was either Dublin or Cork for the autopsy.
So not exactly a stone throws away.
No, sir, but it has been a week. Surely the results should be... If they don't have them already, they should have them within the next day or two, I am sure. I would hope. But as I said, my confidence in the local authorities regarding this matter is, quite low.
Well, sometimes we've got to take the authorities by their own word and do our own jobs. And he taps his revolver.
Goodness me, did not think this was a job that required such a level of influence, but hopefully you will not have to use it, my good man.
No, hopefully not. I've only got 6 rounds, and I'm taking a kick.
I'm not of the desire to put any of you gentlemen in any mode of danger. This is simply an investigation. I would... well, of course I would like results, but I would also not like anyone to put themselves at risk. Not that I don't think the suspect has been apprehended. I don't think there should be any risks.
Well, someone's been arrested for a murder where a shotgun was released at point-blank range. We all could be at risk.
Well, very well. You are the expert in these matters, Mr. Cartwright. I will leave it to your knowledge on the matter.
Fine, I wouldn't. That's a bad call, but still.
He kind of looks at the other gentleman at the table with a slight look of concern, but it's only for a moment. He says, well, gentlemen...
As you lick goes for the Ecker, I'm doing it too at the same time.
Are you double dipping?
The hands touch for a moment and their eyes lock.
Careless whisper comes on in the background. So, yeah, and then... Carl will take a sip from his teacup and say, well, gentlemen, please help yourself to the remainder of this spread, and you can find me here when you are ready to go to the village.
Just very quickly before we go,
yes, absolutely,
you mentioned about your brother Jack is missing a couple of weeks beforehand. Is there any record or information about where he was, what he was doing, or anything like that about his whereabouts and his movements before he died, or before he turned up dead? Anyway.
Well, nothing that I know of, but I can tell you, as I said before, this Peter Houlihan gentleman was the last known person to see him, and he would have seen him quite frequently. He may be a person of interest there. I believe the authorities have already interviewed this man as regards to his whereabouts a couple of weeks ago, but nothing came of it as I understand. But look, it's the only lead I have to go on, and as I know it, and as Mr. O'Shea would probably know it as well, the man is highly reclusive and not very easy to speak to, and I think a few of the other villagers are quite wary of him, if you know what I mean.
Interesting, of course. And then, of course, Jack's own residence himself. He was still a resident of Silvermines?
Indeed, he has the family home. Our parents are since deceased, and he has the family home. I'm residing there at the moment, and of course I forgot to mention this as well, gentlemen. You are free to stay at our residence. Ulick, you may have your own accommodation in Silvermines, but
I know.
If you gentlemen need a place to stay tonight, it's quite a substantially.
Well, yes, perhaps we could end up there after we've done a various bits of research, and we can.
I would like nothing more.
Compare notes.
I will have dinner ready for you, gentlemen.
Fantastic.
What are you making?
I will have an old pot of stew on for you.
It'll do. Have you got any treacle?
I can see if.
Do.
Yes. I'll see what I can do for you, sir.
Actually, also on that, do you happen to know the lead investigator for the guards that are investigating this?
How do you mean, like a name, or?
Yes. Do you know the name of the officer of which we would need to contact?
Well, the sergeant is overlooking the investigation. There's quite a number of gentlemen on the brigade, but you'd be looking for Sergeant Henry Fitzgerald. He's oversees the goings on with the police barracks. Difficult gentleman, if I do say so myself. Very difficult man, yes. He knows the law, but he's very, how how should I put this? Tightly wound, I think, is the best way to describe this gentleman.
Okay, well, I mean, as long as we have a name, obviously someone we can speak
Absolutely.
to and
Yes.
call on. That is great information. Thank you very much.
No, absolutely, sir. No problem at all.
Okay. Well, I think we've got a couple of leads here, so perhaps we could separate and move our abilities around and check out these different areas and come back together and compare notes, maybe back in the house. I know, Professor, that you're experienced in research, as am I. I have a substantial library on occult books and I've written a thing or two. So perhaps we could maybe move ourselves to the library and pick up some research there.
Absolutely. That sounds like a marvelous idea, yes.
Somebody wanted me to get to the barracks and maybe Jack's own house, or should we? Oh no, we'll check out the house later on.
I believe we should check the house out together as a group.
Excellent. Well, maybe if you gentlemen, would you be interested or able to talk to the police?
I have no problem talking to the authorities.
Excellent. Do you want to bring Ulick with you?
Of course, he's a fine, upstanding member and has a lot of information to share.
Where are we going?
To get more treacle.
Maybe you would talk to Peter.
You taking the piss out of me?
Of course I am. I always am. We're going to the barracks.
Right, so.
Okay, so it is settled. You and I, Charlie, wasn't it? You and I shall shake on the books and see what we can find out about this. And you gentlemen, you head to the barracks.
Let's go find Sergeant Henry Fitzgerald.
So we're splitting the party, are we?
Yes, I think that's fine for now. And I think if anybody
Great.
if anybody finds a dead end or whatever, we could move over to that. Actually, you know that the Peter the Houlihan chap. Perhaps do you want to talk to him, or maybe we can catch up with him later?
Ulick, can I ask you to make a no roll, which is your education?
Okay, so where's my education? Oh, there it is. So just click education. Boop. That's a 40 out of 65.
So as a success, you do know who Peter Houlihan is. He would have been a regular at the local. You wouldn't really have spoken to him much. He would have kept to himself. He kept company with Jack Sullivan an awful lot. The two of them were near inseparable. They kind of grew up together. Now, you're a good deal younger than them, but ever since you were a teenager, they'd be both men in their 50s. So when you were a teenager, you would have seen that they kind of worked together, they hung out together, they drank together. They both of them were always kind of within close proximity of the other. But you did kind of note that upon Jack's disappearance, Peter became a recluse. He kind of stopped coming outside. Now, the funny thing about that is, though, you saw him often at nighttime during some of your stupors walking home. You'd see Peter out and about at stupid o'clock in the morning, and not doing anything fishy, just kind of doing normal kind of stuff. You'd see him
that time of the night. What's normal stuff at that kind of time of the night?
Pissing.
No, well, sometimes that actually, but normal stuff is in. You'd see him kind of like going out to the shed and like doing, like, you'd hear him hammering away at stuff, and he was a tradesman, like, so you'd hear him kind of working away in his shed just as you were walking past. You'd see a gas lamp lit in the shed, and you'd know he was in there kind of working away, kind of sawing at something, hammering at something, or whatever. But yeah, like, and that would be what, before Jack went missing, that would be kind of like the stuff he would have done during the daytime. He'd be working he'd be working a lot as a carpenter.
And how would he react to Ulick wandering by hammered like, and a poker took me men. You have taken me men.
So on nights that you have done that, you'd know, especially in the last 3 months, you'd see kind of Peter out his shed. You'd see this like half a head kind of poke out, so you can just see the bridge of his nose and his eyes, and he'd just kind of creak the door shut again. Like you just see these kind of two beady eyes kind of bat at you for a second, and just close the door behind him. And he'd make it a point so that you could hear the latch close on the door.
Okay, good stuff.
But he hasn't spoken to anyone in the village really. You did know that the authorities did in fact come to question him when Jack went missing, but as Cahill said, nothing really came of it. But after that, that's about as much you know of Peter Houlihan.
All right.
So should we be off? Should we head away to do our research and stuff? What do you think?
Are we all getting to go in a motor car, or are some of us walking?
I mean, I don't mind being dropped off.
Everything is actually within walking distance. It's all the barracks and the library are all in town.
Silvermines is we need the car to get to it.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Are we in Silvermines, or did you say?
No. You're in Nina at the moment.
Oh, right. And the police barracks and the library are both in Nina as well.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
So you're both about 5 minutes walk from each place.
Okay, so we'll go and do that, and then we can meet back up and head back to Silvermines.
You leave Cahill Sullivan to his own devices at the cafe, and you all kind of exit the establishment at the same time. It's a cold afternoon. It is late or early October after all, and there's a nice chill breeze that sweeps through Kenyon Street. As you emerge onto the street, can I ask you all to make a spot hidden roll?
Okay.
It's my third nipple.
I got 45 in this. Let's see how we go.
I got a success.
Nice. What did you roll, Ryan?
I got a 17 out of 25.
Oh my god. A 1 out of 45, Dave.
Did you roll a crit success?
I rolled what is that the equivalent of a nat 20?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I rolled a failure.
Except
60
you've
over 55.
even less chance of getting this. You're 5 times less likely to get an actual 1 than a nat 20. You rolled a 1 on a D100. Very good.
That's 1%.
Wow, nice.
Couldn't have been a cleric, could you?
So who passed and who? Well, we know Ulick passed and the professor passed. Benson.
Benson passed. I passed.
Charlie fails. This is 60 over 55, unfortunately.
Okay.
Didn't see the damn thing.
So Charlie, you kind of walk out of the cafe and you kind of know the town, so your attention is directly aimed towards the top of the street where you are bound. But everyone else notices across the road, kind of leaning up against a Dedion Bhutan motor vehicle, is a gentleman wearing a kind of tweed jacket and a tweed cap. He has a newspaper folded underneath the pit of his arm, and he has his arms crossed. And he seems to be looking in your general direction, and as you move away from the cafe, his eyes follow you for a moment, but his attention kind of gets caught by something else, and he kind of strokes his beard for a moment and saunters off in the same direction as you're walking, but on the other side of the street. But he's moving at a much faster pace. Now, he's not jogging or running, but he has a brisk walk about him. Ulick, with a critical success, you notice that with your 20/20 vision,
How much hair's on his back?
Yeah, you're able to count every individual hair. No, what you see is a notepad in the kind of side pocket of his jacket, and a number of pens kind of sticking out as well. He kind of I don't think you figured he wanted to make it known that he was actually looking at you specifically, or you guys, the four of you, but he kind of definitely made it a point to look nonchalant about it afterwards. He kind of briskly walks off. And just to give you a bit more of a clear description, this gentleman looked to be about your age, like in his kind of 30s, and kind of scruffy little beard on him, and he definitely makes it a point to kind of scuttle off quite quickly.
So, with a 1 in 100 chance, I notice he's a notebook and pens.
Yes.
Can I see anything written on the notebook?
No, you're
Lights up in gold.
Okay, had to ask.
Just because you rolled a 1 doesn't mean you get insight into his his hobbies and skills. Yeah.
Cool.
Spot hidden. You can notice that one grey hair on his head. But that is where we're going to leave it for today. So the investigation has begun, and whatever mystery lies behind the death of Jack Sullivan is afoot. What will become of it? Well, let's find out next week. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and we will catch you next time.
Thank you very much, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you so much.